In 2023, you couldn't walk. In 2023, you couldn't walk into a grocery store without seeing an empty shelf where Prime Hydration used to be. Kids were trading bottles for hundreds of dollars online. Parents were fighting strangers in Costco parking lots. Logan Paul and KSI had turned a sports drink into the most talked about product on the internet. Fast forward to 2026, and the story looks completely different. Prime isn't sold out anymore. It's sitting on shelves, getting discounted, and quietly losing shelf space. So what actually happened to the drink that was supposed to take down Gatorade? Let's start with the hard financial reality, because this isn't just vibes or internet rumor. It's in the company's own filings. Prime Hydration's UK accounts showed turnover collapsing from roughly £112 million down to about £33 million, a drop of over 70% in a single year. Net profit fell even harder, down more than 90%, from around £3.7 million to just over £300,000. That's the kind of drop that makes a board of directors call an emergency meeting, and that's exactly what happened. Prime announced a strategic review of the brand to figure out how to survive once the hype stopped doing the heavy lifting. And it's not just the UK numbers. Reports out of the US pointed to significant sales declines as far back as mid-2024, and market research firms tracking Google search interest and Amazon sales data through 2025 and into 2026 have shown the same pattern over and over. Massive spikes tied to specific launches or controversies, followed by long stretches of almost nothing. The scarcity that once made Prime feel like a status symbol has basically evaporated. You can walk into almost any store now and just buy it. To understand the fall, you have to understand the rise. Logan Paul and KSI launched Prime in 2022 right off the back of their boxing rivalry, which meant they already had a built-in audience paying attention to everything they did. Instead of running a traditional launch, they used their combined social reach, tens of millions of followers, to turn Prime into an event every time a new flavor dropped. Then came the scarcity strategy, limited drops, regional exclusives, bottles that sold out in minutes. A marketing expert explained it simply on the BBC. Limit the supply, and you create the demand. It's a classic psychological trick. People don't want the product, they want the thing they can't have. And it worked spectacularly. Prime partnered with the UFC as an official sports drink, signed deals with Arsenal and WWE, got its bottles onto NBA and NFL sidelines, and recruited creators like iShowSpeed to keep the hype machine running through 2024. Here's the problem with a business built entirely on hype. Hype is not a business model. It's a spike, and spikes come back down. A few things happened at once. First, the scarcity strategy stopped working the moment Prime widened its distribution. Once it was everywhere, gas stations, big box stores, every grocery chain. The "I finally found one" feeling disappeared, and so did the urge to buy on site. Second, the competition caught up fast. Electrolyte and hydration drinks became one of the hottest categories in the entire beverage industry. And Prime suddenly had real rivals, fighting for the same shelf space, along with established giants like Gatorade and Powerade that never went anywhere. Consumers also started shifting toward wellness-focused drinks, and search and sales data suggest Prime's messaging around electrolytes just wasn't landing the way the brand hoped. Third, and this is the part that really stings for a healthy, sports drink brand. Prime's energy drink version ran into serious controversy. It got banned in multiple schools over caffeine content concerns, and even drew attention from US lawmakers, questioning how it was being marketed to kids. That kind of headline doesn't just hurt one product line. It makes parents second-guess the whole brand. Put it all together, and you get a textbook boom and bust curve. A brand that grew explosively on borrowed attention, then had nothing sustainable to fall back on once that attention moved elsewhere. To their credit, Logan Paul and KSI haven't just let the brand coast. Since launching the strategic review, Prime has tried to reposition itself as a long-term company rather than a viral moment, investing in infrastructure, expanding retail relationships, and leaning further into major sports partnerships to stay relevant. In 2026, the company also branched out into new product categories, including protein shakes, in an attempt to diversify beyond the hydration drink that made it famous. Whether that's enough remains an open question. The broader hydration drink market is actually still growing. It's valued in the billions and expected to keep expanding through the end of the decade, which means there's still real opportunity out there. But that also means Prime now has to compete on product quality and brand trust instead of scarcity and hype. And that's a much harder game to win. Prime's story is quickly becoming the go-to case study for what happens when a company built by influencers tries to become a real, lasting business. Going viral can get you to $1 billion in sales almost overnight. Prime proved that better than almost any brand in history. But staying at the top requires something viral marketing alone can't buy. A product people keep coming back to once the cameras and the hype have moved on to the next thing. Right now, Prime is finding out the hard way that attention and loyalty are not the same thing. And hey, don't forget to buy merch linked in the description.